Hey, it's Chris Aiken from the Classic Metal Show, and I want to invite you to my first ever public book signing. I'll be doing a special reading, question and answer session, and a signing of my new book, Little Victories, A Tale of Divorce, Debauchery, and Finding Happiness on Thursday, March 20th at Visible Voice Books, located at 1023 Kenilworth Road, Cleveland, Ohio, 44113. I'll have a limited supply of Little Victories on hand to sign. I'll be reading selections from Little Victories, as well as telling stories and reading some material that was left out of Little Victories. I'll end with a Q&A session that will be a no-holds-barred affair. The signing will be from 7 to 9 p.m. at Visible Voice Books, 1023 Kenilworth Road, Cleveland, Ohio, 44113. Come out, have some fun, and be a part of a rare appearance from me, Chris Aiken. It is your Classic Metal Show right here on theclassicmetalshow.com. It's brand new stuff from a long-lost, now-back-again band known as Varga. The tune is called Gamera. And on the phone right now, we've got the leader, the main guy himself, the namesake, Joe Varga. Joe, how are you, man?
Great, man. Glad to be here.
Excellent, dude. Well, Joe, I got to say, man, as a fan that wore out Prototype
Nice.
a million times, I could not be more happy than to have in my hands Enter the Metal, brand new music after what, almost 20 years away from the band Varga.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting for us as well. We're quite pumped about this music. It's basically going back to our roots before Prototype,
Sure.
what we were into back then, and we just decided to kind of head back in that direction again.
Sure. Well, Joe, let's go back probably a year or two ago when, no secret, you guys have been pretty much, not active from 95 till like 2011 or something.
Yeah, pretty much.
What caused you guys to get back together? Was it just the desire to hold on. There we go.
Yeah.
Sorry, I left something
No
on. Was it just the desire to reform and to create music again, or what?
Yeah. Basically, what happened was a few years back, I got in contact with a couple of the dudes, and we were like, "Hey, let's just start doing some." It all kind of started us doing some cover gigs at this local bar in Hamilton here, and I had this idea to do classic metal night where we would cover a full album of classic metal, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden,
Sure.
Black Sabbath, stuff like that. So we started doing those, and a few gigs into it, I'm like, hey guys, we should maybe just start jamming some of our own stuff again. And that's how it all came about. We were just kind of sifting through our older material prior to Prototype, and basically all the stuff that's on Enter the Metal and the part 2, which is coming up in a couple months, which is called Return to the Metal.
Okay.
Altogether 12 songs. They're basically all redos of earlier material.
Okay.
Yeah, but quite redone as far as structure goes, and some of the songs we never came to the surface at all, but some of them were just like old school demos, cassette tapes from the basement sort of thing. We just kind of dug up and reworked, and so
Sure.
that's basically where it's at. And so yeah, getting back to your question there, yeah, it was basically just a matter of us getting back into the basement and cranking out some old songs and reworking them.
Sure. Now, was it instant when you got back together, or did it take a little time to kind of kick the rust off, or what?
Well, you definitely you'd blow off the dust for sure. Yeah, I mean, especially the songs we're doing now, where they're a little more progressive metal than the stuff we did in the '90s, which was more straight ahead. But yeah, I mean, we all kept playing individually, so it wasn't like our chops were that rusty. But it took a while to get it tight again.
Sure, definitely.
I'm not gonna lie. But now we're keeping it up. We just had a jam yesterday, and it sounded great. And we're doing gigs here and there, and things are starting to happen again.
That's cool, man. Well, dude, one of the things that I read online, and I don't know how true this is. Again, it's online, so God knows.
Right.
But was that you guys had kind of fallen away from Adam, and then you reconnected through social media. Is that correct?
I guess through Facebook a little bit, but not really. I mean, I basically contacted him through the phone, the old school way.
Okay.
And then we just started jamming again. So, yeah, there was no animosity towards any of us. We've always been good friends over all these years, and that hasn't gone away.
Sure.
Especially when we got back together in the basement. It was like, all right, here we go again.
Excellent. Well, listening to the music that you have created, that we have so far, the Enter the Metal, the one thing that jumps out to me is how much more just kind of raw or edgy this is than the other stuff. And again, as I told you, I was a prototype freak, so obviously that's a super polished record, where this has a lot more of a raw, grittier feel to it. Was that by design, or was that just kind of where you are today versus where you were?
Yeah. I think, well, personally, on my level, I just kind of like that style of music more so now, especially now for some reason. It seems to be exploding around the world. Like, a lot of bands are kind of going in that direction, you know, the complicated riffage and, you know, just all-out insanity. So I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's a good formula. Let's do that.
Sure.
Again.
Definitely, man. Well, with you guys, you know, being classified, and I don't know that you would want to be classified this way, but you guys basically have always been classified in the progressive metal sort of genre. When you look out at the progressive metal landscape today, do you see enough diversity in the sound and style, or do you see a lot of repetition in it?
Are you speaking just of our music, or music in general?
Just in general, that whole, you know, I don't want to name bands and say, well, do you find these guys derivative or whatever? But, you know, I'm just saying, just as the progressive landscape as a whole, do you see it as changing and evolving, or do you see it as kind of stagnant at this point?
No, I see quite a few different styles of progressive music. I mean, you know, if you look at a band like Dream Theater, they're still going strong and sounding better than ever. And then, you know, you have all your European progressive metal bands, when, you know, some of the bands are a little more gritty and, you know, Cookie Monster vocals and stuff like that.
Right,
but, sure. But yeah, I think there's quite a few different styles of progressive metal out there. And it's just, like I said before, it's exploding. It just seems like there's more and more groups going in that direction, which is great. Excellent.
Well, do you what is it that you're looking to do now with the rebirth of Varga? I mean, are you looking to rebirth and rebuild the band, or are you looking to more just have fun creating music with it, or what are your goals, I guess, at this point?
Yeah, well, obviously we want to try to get some success out of it. You know, we have our own website running, which Sean, our guitar player, basically is the webmaster.
Okay.
We bought a program. We created our own website. You know, we're basically a business restarting again, if you want to call it that.
Sure.
And, you know, we got our own merchandise, our CDs and all that. You know, we're in shirts and all that stuff. So, you know, we're basically building up from the ground up again. And but we're getting a great response from a lot of people around the globe, which is great. And you know, it's been awesome so far. I don't know what else to say.
Sure. Well, talk about the business a little bit too, since it has obviously changed a million times over since the last time there was a Varga release out there. You know, are sales of CDs or digital downloads a goal as much as more as a tool to get you out there to play gigs?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, obviously, you know, we want to make some money on this. You know, we all have other jobs, but still, this is a job that could take off again. So, we're basically riding that fine line of working our normal jobs and doing this as well. And but if this takes over all of a sudden, we're out the door.
Right.
But it's definitely a fine line of selling the product and getting out there and playing for sure.
Definitely, man. So what are your goals for 2014? Are you guys planning to do some touring, or what does it look like?
Yeah. We're in talks right now with some people to do a little bit of touring across Canada and the States, and then we're trying to get over to Europe too for a couple festivals, which would be awesome, and UK as well. So we got our fingers crossed right now. We got a couple offers dangling, and we're just kind of trying to work out the details, basically.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, as we said before, the new record, it is called Enter the Metal. It's brand new stuff from Varga. And Joe, where can people go online to find out more about Varga and where you guys are going to be playing and hear some samples and all that stuff?
Yeah, just go right to our website. It's vargahq.com.
All right, excellent. Now, Joe, before I let you go, I have to ask you what is known as the traditional classic metal show question.
Sure.
We ask this to everybody, and everybody has a different response. I'm going to assume that as a bassist, you will have an answer to this.
Okay.
How has Lemmy from Motorhead influenced your career?
Oh, man. Well, how hasn't he? I mean, I think he's influenced every metal bass player, musician on the planet, just by his sheer gritty, natural self. You know what I mean?
Sure.
He doesn't. There's no gimmicks. He is what he is. He's just street, and he's the man.
I agree fully.
Yeah, man, and he's still kicking ass.
Yes, he is, definitely, man. Well, Joe, as we said, the new record, it is called Enter the Metal, and as a tradition on the show, we always let the artist pick a closing track from the new record and maybe tell us a story about it. So what would you like us to end the interview with for the fans?
Well, let's go with the Mad Scientist.
All right, and why that one?
Well, partially because we are actually doing a music video for that song soon.
Okay.
So, and it's a cool song. It's about basically about a man who had some visions of destruction and doom on this planet. It's all storytelling, but it's a good story, and it's an evil song, and it kicks ass, in my opinion.
All right. Well, let's check it out right now. This is Varga with Mad Scientist right here on your Classic Metal Show. Hey, it's Chris Aiken from the Classic Metal Show. Most people know me as the foul-mouthed shock jock from the Classic Metal Show or the no-nonsense heavy metal critic from pitriff.com. Now you get to learn the other side. My first book, Little Victories, A Tale of Divorce, Debauchery, and Finding Happiness, comes out on January 13th in paperback and digital formats on Amazon and iTunes. It details my real-world emotional struggles over a year that included a divorce after a quarter century of marriage and the death of my father. It profiles things I did right, as well as a bevy of things that I did wrong with the help of alcohol, and how I found my way out of the muck of the emotional state that almost saw me commit suicide. Pre-order your copy of Little Victories, A Tale of Divorce, Debauchery, and Finding Happiness today at www.chrisaikenbooks.com and get in touch with the more fallible side of me, Chris Aiken. Sounds happy, huh?